He's a man, hooker man, he's a woman too. Hi, and welcome back. Flowers in the summertime. Last time we were together, things kind of crashed and burned pretty early with Chidori and Erica, but it's a good thing that Erica's got some stuff to keep her mind occupied because the Hookman has arrived! Another one of the 7 great mysteries of San Ingracum. And investigation team Erica is on the case. So let's just see how that's gonna go, shall we? Let's see if I can tab over to the appropriate window this time. I did it! I'm so good at mouse clicking. All right, let's do it. Investigation team, go! When asked whether I really saw the Hookman, I automatically nod before I can stop myself. My reaction is immediately greeted by a chorus of shrieks. I guess it was a mistake to tell the Sasaki's after. Yeah, like if there is anything you want to at all keep hidden, these are the last 2 people on Earth you want to have that information. The Green Hookman had been the talk of the table yesterday at lunchtime. My classmates had been so nervous at the suggestion that it could be some kind of earthly intruder rather than a supernatural entity. But the way they're telling the tale like they saw it with their own eyes has dispelled those uncomfortable notions, and it's now taken for granted that we're dealing with something more otherworldly. Although the legend tells of a green figure, the Hookman we'd seen yesterday did, like Sasaki is saying, appear to be clothed in shades of both black and green. Even having seen it in person, I found myself thinking on it more as a ghost or a spirit than an intruder. However, we are finished talking about this. If this talk continues, God shall smite all of thee. The chatter stops as Sister Basquiat enters the room. I guess it's not the sort of topic to discuss in front of a nun, even though she's the one that saw it. Oh, damn. She's disappointed. This is not a face you want to see coming from this woman. The warning isn't directed at anyone in particular, but the Sasaki sisters shrink back like turtles, retreating into their shells. Stop it! She's certainly living up to her pious reputation. Even the Sasakis nod meekly without putting up any protest. However, during Bible study, while weeding the gardens, even during ballet class, which is particularly intensive in the lead up to the recital, you're freaking her out! Don't make her fall and break an arm! This girl is very susceptible to psychic damage. I mean, as well as, falling and hitting the floor and, bone damage. The Hookman's story isn't an open topic of discussion, but the whispers aren't dying out. When our after-school ballet practice is over and everyone is heading back to the dorms in small groups, oh, now you're back in? You're back in? Even though, all right. The investigation team does need the lively mascot types, and I suppose that these 2 are just as cute as any mascot could be, so we can roll with that. I'm captured by the Sasaki twins who haven't stopped gossiping about it all day long. Should stop it. You mean something separate from what we're doing? Are you gonna find the Hookman? She asks me and... No. As someone who's directly encountered the Hookman myself, all I can do is nod. I survey our surroundings, then head toward the corridor that leads to the clubhouse. I was here just yesterday, but it feels like an age ago. Y'all are far from adults right now. Where do y'all see the bloodlights we got? Some Valferris shit there. I feel like that's something you would see in Bloodborne, since Bloodborne is like blood everything. What? I don't know, sure. They got bloodlights. I only thought of Valferris because I had played that most recently. Nobody knows what Valferris is. Not anybody that would be watching this Let's Play, which is like one person. Hello, one person. I move my wheelchair forward until I'm under one of the lights. We look all around the entrance, but come up with nothing. Well, except for a bunch of moths dive bombing us. That's no fun. A stag beetle, there you go. I really wasn't trying to turn it into a competition, but before I can say anything... Yo, here we go! All right. Someone addresses me from behind, and I turn around to face them. Ah, I'm not all that surprised to see her here. Yeah, now we got a full squad. Why don't you party up? Come on, ready up with us. Not at all. Oh, y'all are so bad at this. Yeah, y'all know who you're talking to. You're not fooling anyone. She holds up a drone beetle she's found crawling along the edge of the steps. Yatsushiro-senpai smiles wryly. She pulls a camera from a bag hanging around her waist and shows it to us. You're smushing it. Don't go popping beetles on us. We don't need that. The younger Sasaki sister gently places the drone beetle down on the lawn. That's what she's worried about right now. It's time for revenge! Saying this, she strokes her expensive-looking SLR camera. Now that I think about it, she did once mention photography being her hobby. She's an old soul. Remember the first time you saw a digital camera? I remember that being like a big thing, but I guess I'm old enough for that to have been kind of just like, what am I looking at? That's wild! The Sasakis immediately crowd around her. Yatsushiro-senpai starts showing them the photos she's taken as they coo over each one in turn. Yeah, we got a lot. We got some goofing off time. I peer over at the photos on the camera screen too. There are pictures from after I arrived at the academy as well as some from before I got here. The elder Sasaki's sister goes back to the previous image, and then back one more. While her sister seems exasperated by her unexplained behavior, for some reason Yatsushiro-senpai is grinning. I bet they're awesome. Yatsushiro-senpai keeps watching the other Sasaki without answering her sister's question. Then, rubbing at her two moles, Ichigo speaks hesitantly.
この前の写真とこの写真、仲の良い鳥さんと次は猫が写っているよね。それで最後に割れた卵が写っている。これって何かストーリーみたいなものがあるんじゃないかって。
As soon as she said it, it hits me too.
そう、正解だ。この写真は組写真になっているんだよ。
組写真とは何ですか？
写真に起承転結、意味性を持たせるものを言うね。対別するとまず物語性のあるもの、モンタージュされているもの、時間経過を追ったものとなる。今見せた写真は物語性と時間経過を組み合わせたものだ。
そういう撮り方もあるのですね。
She nods admiringly.
確か2枚以上ならいいんですよね。
八重垣くんは知っているようだね。そうだ。まあわかりやすく起承転結の4枚か序波球の3枚の方が意味性が強く出せていいと思う。
I'm not a photographer, so I don't know if they're making this shit up or not. I think photography is awesome. I've just never really, never had the eye for it. And I only have one eye, and that one eye that I have is not for photography, apparently.
まあ、これは僕の試験だけどね。
I thank her and hand the camera back, and she cradles it to her like a baby. Then she lifts it to her eye and takes a shot of the sunset.
二階屋の会の会長としては止めるべきなんだろうが、ほどほどで帰りたまえ。
Man, Yuzuriha is such a bro. God, she's so cool. I want to be like Yuzuriha when I grow up. With that, she stows her camera away and strides off. Looks like they're behind the clubhouse, trying to catch the culprit. My first instinct is to make my way over there myself, but... yeah, that might be a little problematic, I assume. I gaze at the sun, just about to sink over the horizon, and give my knees a slap and glare across the entrance. At first, I think I'm imagining it, but... in the woods behind the clubhouse, I can see a pale light glowing. Like a firefly, it flashes for a moment and fades into nothing, before again blooming white. What we got? Are we battling two at once? The twins don't seem to have noticed anything. They continue to stare in silence at the entrance and the corridors on the first and second floors. Another possibility suddenly occurs to me. She'd said that she wanted to capture the creature on film. I considered this for a while, once the flashing has stopped. The pale light could be the camera screen. I ask her in a whisper what she means and look back from the woods toward the clubhouse. As she answers, I spot a black figure, the Hookman, in the corridor. Let's go, I whisper to no one in particular, then make my way silently toward the building. By the time we've reached the corridor, the figure is already gone, but there's a lingering presence that tells me it must have come this way. Keeping quiet, we follow after it. The art room again. Just like last time, I can hear faint sounds coming from within the art room. After exchanging a look, we open the door. Oh, Jesus! Somebody is getting murdered! A scream rends the darkness, shredding our nerves. The terror of hearing such a noise emanating from the dark, empty room gets my heart to thumping so hard I feel like it's about to burst out of my chest. Go get him, Ichigo! The elder Sasaki twin is the first of us to return to her senses. She grasps her sister's hands and mine, looks briefly into our eyes, then dashes over to where the scream came from. Finding an open doorway, she dashes inside without a moment's hesitation. Her sister follows her, and after a moment of hesitation, I do the same. The classroom is silent and still. Ichigo is standing in the center of it, rooted to the spot. Her sister stumbles backwards. I look at the woman. Oh no! Somebody else got murdered! A body has been discovered! Oh god, no! Did they get... Oh no, they got Dahlia! Oh, that's fucked, dude! And at first, my brain refuses to acknowledge that it's really her. Oh no! Her nun's habit and golden hair in disarray. Her kindly, good-natured face. The woman I look up to. Oh no, this is bad, dude. You don't get to just cut it there. What happened? What is this? You don't just pull the interlude like, oh, we're done. What happened? Sister Basquiat was attacked? Oh my god. Oh shit. When I tell her about what happened to Sister Basquiat, all I get back is a short, really? I look at my amitié partner lying in her bed. My body feels limp and shaky. Well, I'm certainly glad she has her priorities straight. I bite back my instinctual response to those selfish words of hers. It'd make things worse. After a moment, she asks just that, and I force my anger aside. I figured she was made of sterner stuff. My blood had run cold. Hey, you know what? Every visual novel on the planet, my blood ran cold. It's literally in every damn visual novel, I swear to Christ. My blood had run cold upon seeing Sister Basquiat's unconscious figure, but it appears the only damage was a bit of bruising from when she collapsed, and she didn't hit her head, thankfully. However... Oh, now she's pissed. Now Erica's pissed. Oh, somebody's about to get Columbo'd real hard now. My determined announcement is swallowed up by the hollow darkness, leaving only silence. The only noise in the room is the even sound of mine and Chidori's breathing. Oh, wow. You picked up on that one, didn't you? Rather than feeling exasperation or anger at her childish phrasing, I'm not quite sure what she means, so I end up staring at her. My eyes have gotten used to the darkness, so I can tell from her outline that she's staring right back at me. Oh. Maybe the darkness is a blessing. I'm able to lay bare the truth of how I feel about that holy woman who's the complete opposite of me in body and soul. She falls silent again. I choose my next words carefully, trying to figure out what my amitié partner is really thinking. Even in the dark, I can sense very keenly just how conflicted she is. She's obviously deliberating over what to say. She doesn't want to talk about her past. She finally speaks. She tells me about how her parents were always working, how she barely had a relationship with them and so pursued ballet in an attempt to solicit their attention.
初めは目を向けてくれたわ。でも物珍しく思うのは一時。
No.
すぐに相手にされなくなった。
Noticing a lot of like it's not, you know, I don't feel that this is something I'm just noticing, but it's something I feel like I'm only just now verbalizing, is I'm seeing a lot of familial issues running through everybody in this game. Like we've seen it in Suo, we've seen it in Rika, Mayuri obviously, and now like we know that Erika's situation at home was not the greatest, and in Chidori, just, man, everybody's got some real deep scarring from their familial situations. It sounds real rough. Even so, she continued to devote herself to her work, heart and soul, desperate for them to see her. And then,
他の仕事はさほど興味を持ってくれなかったけれど、バレエだけは褒めてくれた。
I guess it was the easiest thing to brag about to their colleagues, she mutters.
でも私は両親が見に来てくれると約束してくれたことが嬉しくて、稽古にいつも以上に励んだの。他の言葉が耳に入らないほどに。
That one younger girl who'd adored her, she goes on to tell me how the other dancers had said the girl was ill or had a fever or something like that. But while the words reached her ears, she didn't really hear them.
そして舞台当日、私は踊った。両親が見に来てくれていることに胸が震える思いだった。
Their performance of the Nutcracker continued on to the end of Act 1, and at the start of the Waltz of Snowflakes, it was her big moment, she whispers, her voice so quiet I can barely hear her.
あの子は倒れ、私は立ち上がることのできない後輩を心配するどころか、忌々しく思っていた。舞台を壊す気かって。でも、立ち上がれるはずはないわよね。
That is a hell of a weight to have to bear. She tells me tearfully.
靭帯を切ってしまっていたのよ。
Yeah, that would probably do it, wouldn't it?
また踊ることを勧めたの。
Oh, man.
私には向いていなかったの。いい機会でした。そう言って笑ったの。
That's gut-wrenching, man. She smiled, she repeats, her voice swallowed by the sobs. I see, I mutter in response. Yeah. Listening to her wavering voice, I don't know what I should say to her.
私はね、エリカ。舞台に立ち続けなくてはならないの。あの子のためにも。
I wonder, when she said she wouldn't be at the academy for long, if that was an expression of her determination to pursue ballet for the sake of the girl who could no longer dance. If what she was really saying was that she wanted to dance, center stage.
私はエリカ。
Oh.
あなたと出会ってから少しずつ変われていると思っていた。他人を気遣えるものになってきたのだと。
But I haven't changed at all, she says, her tone endlessly deprecating. My selfishness caused the president to get hurt.
本質はきっと変わらないのよ。
Oh, come on.
あの頃の私のままだ。
No. You are growing, child. You made a mistake. Just because you vow to change does not happen overnight. A silence descends upon the room, indicating that the conversation is over until I break it. That's not true, I tell her.
なあ、千鳥。以前、性善説と性悪説の話をしたよな。ええ。だから私は変わらない。性悪説を信じるわ。そうだな。私もお前も性悪説論者だ。
We're both here in this self-imposed isolation. I sense my amitié partner stiffen where she's lying in bed. I force myself to smile.
いいか、性悪説ってのは悪人は悪人、人は生まれながらに犯罪者って意味じゃないんだよ。純子が言った性悪説ってのはな、この場合の悪は勉強をしない、学ばない人間を指しているんだ。人は生まれた時から知識を持っているわけじゃないから、最初は悪だけれど自力で学び善人になってゆくべきだって考え方なんだよ。
Now that my eyes are accustomed to the darkness, I can see Chidori's tense face clearly. I gaze into her eyes, speaking carefully.
お前は学んでいるだろう。
Aww.
ノートを取っているのだって知ってる。高崎千鳥は
Wow. Just really kind of big moment of vulnerability there. Just kind of like, you don't see this side to Erica very often, so I feel like she should understand that, like, if Erica's the one telling you this, then you should be listening. The silence stretches on for a moment until
私を信じてくれるの？
Chidori whispers.
人を信じるってのは理屈じゃないんだよ。これは真ん中の姉の受け売りだけどな。
そう。
I feel like the tension in her mind and body is finally easing. It's an almost palpable sensation thanks to the darkness enveloping us
エ
both.
リカが一番私のことを考えてくれているのだものね。
何か言ったか？
何も。ねえエリカ。
Hey!
私も。
All right, we got ourselves a new party member. Let's go. Let's go.
稽古はいいのか？
これ以上誰かが損なわれるのを見るのは。
Also, like, I'm literally perfect, so why do you think I need the practice? Come on now. You've seen this shit. You know how good I am. Me neither, buddy, I mutter, then close my eyes and give myself up to the dark's intimate embrace. After class, I head to the clubhouse together with Chidori. We pass through the entrance where I have now witnessed the apparition on multiple occasions, and make our way to the classroom where Sister Basquiat fainted. As I'd expected, the door has been securely locked. I retrieved the tool I'd stowed under my butt for safekeeping and feed it into the Oh!
バスキア教諭の部屋の鍵よりは難易度が。
Yeah!
これも雑貨屋に置いてある金庫の。
Busting out her Splinter Cell shit now. Let's go!
鍵開けが趣味だって言っていたけど、本当だったのね。
Let's go!
めくらないインドア派女の趣味の一つだよ。開いたぜ。
I put my tool away, open the door, and venture inside. Alright, what do we got here? No sea of blood! No, they got that cleaned up already.
面白い冗談だ。流血沙汰になってりゃ、口止めなんかとてもじゃないができなかっただろうな。
I carefully examined the area around where Sister Basquiat collapsed. Due to the distress of finding her like that and the fact that it was nighttime, I hadn't gotten a good look before. Now, in the light of day, I can apply closer scrutiny to everything.
あの双子さんたちが一緒だったのでしょ？よく黙っていられたわね。
Yeah, you and me both.
あの双子はノリも軽いしおしゃべりだが、バカじゃない。本当にまずいことは口を閉ざすさ。
They understand the importance of silence, I think. At any rate, the only people that know about last night's incident are me and the Sasakis. Sister Basquiat had regained consciousness here in the empty classroom, and we'd called her name several times. After that, she had the school nurse check her head for any injuries under the pretense that she'd fainted thanks to anemia.
今日の様子じゃ、昨日の一件は黙っているつもりらしいな。
In fact, Sister Poscat was the one who originally suggested we keep it between us. Yeah, like, if there's anybody that's gonna be out here and probably, you know, she's probably gonna be just as suspicious as us, you know, being out here after school hours and loitering around in the art room, you know, after hours. We're not supposed to be doing that either, but she is, like, seemingly the one adult on campus. I gaze around the room, trying to see if there's anything out of place.
殴られたわけじゃないのよね。空き教室から物音がして中に入って確認したところ、気がついたら目の前にいたってのが気を失った理由らしいからな。本当に驚いて気絶する人っているのね。私や千鳥みたいに神経太いやつばかりじゃないってこと。
They're not as awesome as us. There's always something about securing the scene in cop dramas, but I'm a sleuth. That doesn't apply here. I go around searching through the lockers in the classroom, but nothing catches my eye.
次の場所へ向かうぞ。何か分かった？どこにも異常ないことが分かったよ。
That's one strike then, I mutter some choice curses to myself as I exit the classroom. I relock the door and start turning my chair to the direction of our next target when...
どうした？窓の外にフックマンでも見えたのか？いいえ、庭師の人を見ていたの。
I've been saying that since the beginning that I'm removing a sweatshirt because it is way too hot. I've been saying since the beginning that, you know, the gardeners, there's gardeners and we knew that they were male. That could be a thing. I follow her gaze out the window and see a gardener tending to the roses. I narrow my eyes.
さすがにあそこの庭師とフックマンと間違わねえよ。緑色の服ってことしか共通点がないだろう。
I don't know if it's dark enough. I mean, and again, the red lights, you know, they're not helping matters. I think the visibility is pretty low here.
でも手には鍵爪じゃないけど凶器がほら。
Yeah, they got shears and shit. I stare at where she's pointing and see a pair of pruning shears in the gardener's hands. Then I look back to the squinting Chidori.
見間違うにしてももっと長い獲物だったよ。それに緑色って言ってもあいつの服は何というか黒にも見えたし。
日産してくるとは随分熱心じゃないか。
Busted! I'm just on the verge of reshuffling some niggling issues that I've hit upon when a voice interrupts me. I turn to glare at the speaker.
おっと、不機嫌な顔をしているね。もしかして。
All right, I think it's about time for her. I was waiting for Yuzuriha period joke Yatsushiro to show up.
いえ、私は少し前に見ました。
She's so earnest.
お前に言ったセリフじゃないだろうが。前にも言いましたが重い方なんです。最中ならもっと人相が悪くなってますよ。
Yatsushiro-senpai laughs cheerily. This is clearly deeply inappropriate, but she's the rare kind of person you just can't help but let off the hook. Perhaps because she's just so brazen about it.
それでまたそのフックマンの捜査かい？昨日は見つけられたのかな？
Going by how she phrased that, I'm surprised Yatsushiro-senpai had no luck the other evening. Armed with her camera, she'd been more fired up than us. Although I suppose I should have figured since she didn't come running at the scream.
昨日は空振りですよ。先輩の方はどうだったんです？
僕の方も空振りさ。まあ、不心得者を捕まえることができたけどね。不心得者？違う。夏場ということもあるんだろうけどね。
Couple of girls trying to prove they have balls.
七不思議の噂を聞いて。
Well! Testing their courage by checking out the 7 mysteries for themselves. Testing their courage. That reminds me of how the Sasaki sisters and the others had talked about the Bloody Mary ritual they performed.
フックマンの噂を聞いて夜のクラブハウスへ肝試し。てな具合ですか？
ああ、 人の口に戸は立てられないというやつでね。基本は明るい時間に訪れて雰囲気を味わうだけだが、上級生の中にはもっと刺激が欲しいと夜忍び込む者もいるのだよ。
It doesn't seem like an activity befitting most young ladies at this prestigious academy, but I get it. I suppose there are weirdos like myself and the Sasakis to be found everywhere.
それで昨日はその上級生たちを見つけて寮に送り返していたってところですか？
So, like, what are the odds that there's, like, okay, if a bunch of them are just out here testing their courage, couldn't, like, other people just be, like, testing the waters and trying to be the Hookman themselves? Like, is that what's happening here?
まあね、見つからないように森を突っ切ってきたのだろうが、一人はちゃんと
Yeah,
して着込んでいたが。
To keep the bugs off? I don't know about that. Nah, I think I see what's happening here. I don't think that there's a Hookman. I think there are many Hookmen. And, like, one of them that was there, one had to be there for a purpose, right? Or I don't know. I don't know. But, like, is it if this whole thing just ends up being another wild goose chase? These mysteries are so dumb.
もう一人の方は
I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, it's just like, come on, y'all. Open your eyes just a little.
懲りただろ。
Yatsushiro Senpai chuckles at their misfortune, and I return a vague smile. So the pale light I had seen in the woods last night must have been those students.
でだ。無体な話はしたくないが、上級生たちを指導した手前、下校時刻が過ぎてまで見張る。ということを看過できなかった。
Even Yuzuriha's gotta get serious at some point.
そんな。いや、一度目こぼししただけでもありがたいと思う。
She's absolutely letting you skirt by a little bit. Yeah, Yatsushiro asks, folding her arms and smiling cynically. She's obviously eagerly waiting to see how I'm gonna bargain my way out of this one.
美術室の中を覗かせてもらえませんかね。下校時刻が来たならおいとましますので。
見学するのを止める権利は。ああ、そうか、そうだったな。今日は休みだったか。
She strides off to take a look at the art room, then comes rushing back to us, her skirt flying.
やはり部活は休みだ。誰もいないようだよ。
I pretend to be flummoxed by this, but it's actually good news to me. Once Yatsushiro Senpai is gone, I can just pick the lock and roll right in.
どうしたんだい？まさか美術室にフックマンの謎を解く鍵があるとでも？
実はフックマンが目撃された際に美術室で物音を聞いたという情報があったんです。だから調べてみようと思いまして。
I could have told an outright lie, but she's a sharp girl. She'd have seen right through that. I need to mix in just enough of the truth.
それは面白い。
Her mood flips instantly to one of extreme excitement, and she announces that we'll go and check it out immediately.
いいんですか？
何？下校時刻前なら問題ない。それに可愛い後輩の頼みだ。ここは一つ頼まれてやるとしよう。
Look at that. Winning favors from the cuties. She dashes off with a shout about how she's going to grab us the key and get permission to enter the room.
頼んだ覚えはないんだけどな。変わり者ね。
I nod, but I realize that the same is often said about me. A strange feeling blooms inside me at the idea of being lumped in with Yatsushiro Senpai. I just remembered that they were gonna do a big spring clean, Yatsushiro Senpai continues. A big spring
大掃
clean.
除ですか。年末でもないのに。
She stares with interest at an oil painting propped up against the easel as she responds to my question.
大掃除は言い方が悪かったか。なんというのかな。修作。あまり出来が良くなかった絵。
Gonna throw out the trash ass paintings by the kids who are absolutely barf at it.
調査？処分って 捨ててしまうのですか？
基本は自分で引き取るらしいが、ここはほら全寮制だからね。相部屋で自分の海外
Yeah, those rooms ain't that big.
迷惑な話だろ。本当に気に入ったもの以外は燃やしたり、長所なら壊して新しい作品の材料にするらしいよ。
Maybe the sound you heard was someone smashing their sculptures to pieces, she goes on.
結構よく描けているのにもったいない。
The paintings stacked on the floor in the corner of the room are probably the ones due to be disposed of. I'm looking through each of them when I come upon a picture of Christ and stop to stare at it.
なんだか燃やすのがためらわれないところです。
Feels a
宗教が
feels a little sacrilegious. Feels a little blasphemous.
学院の色というやつさ。この花の絵画はいいな。捨てるならもらえるように頼んでみるか。
She's holding a painting done in what I think is a cubist style, like one of Picasso's, and staring at it intently. To me, it looks like a picture of a horse.
八代先輩のペースに巻き込まれてどうする？調査をしないと。
I was in here last night when I heard that sound. My first thought was that the Hookman might have broken in. However, in the empty classroom opposite, that sound.
おい、
I can maybe excuse the eccentric Yatsushiro senpai, but I call out to Chidori, who's staring intently at a particular painting and not doing anything to help our investigation. The painting she's focused on depicts an angel alongside the Virgin Mary. I tap Chidori on the waist and sarcastically ask if she feels like helping yet. However, her eyes remain glued to the image.
そんなに気に入ったのか、その絵。ガブリエルの絵よ。受胎告知の場面ね。
She tells me.
知ってるよ。イギリス出身のミュージシャン。
Peter Gabriel!
今は天使の話をしているのよ。
She doesn't rise to the bait. Instead, she shakes her head and holds the painting out to me.
この絵、描いたのは高坂さん。
Oh! Oh. Yeah, that's one of those definitely worth stopping the music for kind of things. My breath catches in my throat. I feel like I've been hit by a ball completely out of left field. I'm gonna have to go through and count all of the baseball analogies in her narration sometime.
裏側に、ほら。
On the back of the canvas is a name and a date. Written there, just as Chidori had said, is the name Mayuri Kosaka.
確かに。
I'd heard from Shirohane that Kosaka had been a member of the art club, so it makes sense that there'd be a painting or two of hers around.
どこにあった？
I ask her, and she turns toward another pile of paintings that looks like they're destined for the scrap heap. As soon as she points me in the right direction, I start looking through the pile for more of Kosaka's work.
油絵は2枚か。ま、描くのに時間かかりそうだものな。
これが高坂くんの絵か。受胎告知だね。
It depicts the scene in the Bible where the angel Gabriel appears to Mary, telling her that she bears the Son of God. In his left hand he holds a white lily, a symbol of purity and the flower of the Virgin Mary, while his right hand is raised heavenward. The second painting I've found shows an old man holding carpenter's tools.
これは
Yeah, Joseph of
おそら
Nazareth.
くナザレのヨセフの絵画だね。
どうしてわかるのです？有名な絵画の模写なのですか？
この老人の手には大工
Joseph
道
was
具
a
が握られてい
carpenter.
る
Yeah.
の。大工であったヨセフは労働者の守護聖人で、なおかつ聖母マリアの処女受胎を強調するものとして、夫のヨセフは老人に描かれることが多い。処女受胎の絵の後に見たから連想だけどね。
へえ、さすがは二階屋の会の会長ですね。博識だ。
もっと褒めるといい。
Keep bigging her up. When I look back at the painting after listening to Yatsushita-senpai, I can indeed see how it resembles the images of Saint Joseph I'd seen when I was researching him previously.
ダヴィンチコードなら絵の中に秘密が隠されているところだから。
Maybe we will!
そういう話なのかい？ならネタバレはやめてくれ。その映画まだ見てないんだ。
As an avid consumer of books and movies myself, I feel bad for my thoughtless faux pas. However, there's something niggling away at the back of my mind again. Spoilers? No, that's not it. Out of all the information I've accumulated up to this point, what is it that really stands out? You might have just stumbled onto something. And, just one more thing.
何か分かったのね。
I nod. At the same time, I clench my fists hard enough for my nails to bite into the flesh of my palms as I realize that I may have, in a sense, been responsible for this Hookman incident. What? Oh no! What did you do? Wait. I mean, you couldn't have known that there was a painting by Mayuri, so wait a minute. I'll tuck that away in the old corner of the brain. I don't want to jump ahead of myself here. The whole class serenades her with a chorus of "Happy birthday! Yeah! It's Sister Basquiat's surprise birthday! Let's go!" Lots of different cakes and desserts have been prepared for the occasion. There's so much that we've had to bring in multiple extra desks to hold it all, providing a delicious feast for the eyes as well as the stomach. Once the surprise of it has worn off, Sister Basquiat seems moved to tears. I'm glad to see her so delighted by our little scheme. Sister Basquiat has taken the birthday party in the spirit we intended, and it's going swimmingly. However,
確かにこの目で嘘なんか言わないよ。噂通り緑色の服を着て手には鍵爪。
is this really the place?
ホックマンの話は本当だったん
Yo,
だ。
is this really the place? It's a birthday party. Do you ever turn it off? With those few words, the floodgates are
それ
opened.
で襲ったりはしてこなかったの？追いかけたのですが見失ってしまったのですよ。
Little leaks sink great ships. The more they try to gloss over what they've let slip, the more information they give away, and the more scraps they're given, the more people beg them to go on. Despite this being a party, there's an uncomfortable tension in the air now that the topic of the Hookman has been brought up, even though we weren't supposed to mention it. There's a divide in the class between those who haven't noticed the mood and those who feel awkward that it's being discussed in front of Sister Basquiat, even if it is just whispers. Then,
この席にその話題は似つかわしくないわ。
thank you. I was hoping somebody might drop that in the, y'all, it's a birthday party. Let's turn it off. At the Prez's words, the Sasaki sisters seem to realize that they've soured the mood and apologize meekly. But for me...
ちょうどいい機会だな。
Oh. The Hookman seems to have gotten its hands on what it was looking for, and while most rumors tend to have a short shelf life, it'd have been a pain, least for Sister Basquiat, for this one to spread any further. Revisiting the pieces of the puzzle in my head, I select only the relevant information that'll tie this up neatly. I'm not going to reveal the real truth behind the Hookman. Okay. But I am going to give my classmates a deduction that they'll be satisfied. This is something... Her method of solving mysteries has been very much like, let's do the minimal amount of damage possible. Although I think I kind of get where she's going with this now. It won't be the original Hookman. Still, I think I can come up with a convincing alternative. What might be the best explanation for the Hookman? A hallucination. Narine Komikado looking into the no. I think it's a random student out to test their courage. We kind of mentioned that was kind of like why I think it's sort of like why I think that Yuzuriha mentioned finding a student that was dressed up. Next, I'll have to explain my reasoning for why people were convinced that what they saw really was the Green Hookman. You can offer it up for them on a platter, but people won't accept any explanation unless it feels true to them. The green part is the crux. What's the main reason it was called the Green Hookman? The culprit is a man, the clothes it's wearing appeared green. After I've finished sorting through the pieces of the puzzle and putting them in order, I wheel myself forward in front of everyone, declaring that I have something I want to say. I'm gonna make the mood weird at the birthday party. I make my way to the center with everyone's eyes on me, then stop and survey the sea of faces. No one's wearing an expression of malice like some had back during the case of the disappearing bunnies. Instead, I'm faced with either curiosity or confusion. That includes the Sasaki sisters and the Prez, except for 3. Sister Basquiat is wearing a distressed look, like which she told us to stop spreading rumors. My bookworm buddy looks like a little kid who knows they're about to get scolded, and my amitié partner has a triumphant gleam in her eye. While I'd started this for Sister Basquiat's sake, it's also turned into something of an effort to protect the ballet recital. I let a small smile play across my face, my usual cat-like smile. Then, with everyone's attention focused solely on me, I smile again. Praise me! Witness me! I announced to my audience. Perhaps it's just a sign of people's excitement ahead of an upcoming spectacle, but the clamor continues and shows no sign of abating. However, don't worry, I got this. Sister Basquiat's restrained murmur silences everyone at once. I nod. My audience looks confused by my use of the word again. I mentally chide myself for talking as though everyone knows about the incident with the disappearing scripts and cover for my error by stressing its similarity to Yuzuriha Yatsushiro incident. Her sister nods her enthusiastic agreement, but then suddenly stops as a look of realization crosses her face. I make my revelation. The chatter immediately returns, and I hear people wondering if it was just some kind of intruder or a burglar. I smile, then continue. They being naughty.
不審者かもしれない。でもみんなが思うようなものじゃない。もったいつけないで、八重垣さん。
The president fiddles with her braids as she speaks. Even though she knows we're not talking about a ghost or apparition now, she's still nervous when it comes to the topic of the Hookman. I pause for a moment, leaving my audience waiting with bated breath.
それでは種明かしをしよう。私たちが目にしたフックマンは噂を聞いて肝試しに来た上級生たちだったんだよ。肝試し？上級生の方たちがそんな。
年を食ってるからって分別をわきまえてるわけじゃない。少しくらいは変わり種っていうのはいるもん。
I mean, you got a good point.
私やこいつとかね。
I point at Chidori, then after a moment, Prez and the others all nod. Come on, guys, you're supposed to deny it!
それにこれは裏が取れている。二階屋の会の会長から直々に聞いた話だ。フックマンの噂が出てから夏の風物詩ってな具合で、下校時刻を過ぎ雰囲気が出るくらい暗くなってからクラブハウスへ赴いた上級生がいたそうだ。ああ、おこごとは住んでいるそうですよ。
I add that last bit for the Prez and Sister Basquiat. I wouldn't want to be responsible for anyone getting in trouble.
でもそれっておかしくない？
何がだ？
真っ暗な中肝試しをしていて黒い人影だってなるのはわかるけど、私たちは緑色のコートに鍵爪の姿を見たじゃない。確かに肝試しをする人が気分を盛り上げるために暑い中服を着込んで凶器を持ち歩いていたって話ですか？不自然ですよ。
It does sound like something a kid would do, you know, to be stupid, you know, out of like, oh, it's a test of courage. So yeah, it tracks. Faced with the twins' doubts about the Hookman's appearance, I respond simply that I have already solved that too, and turn my own questions back on the dissatisfied Sasaki sisters.
いいか、寮からクラブハウスへ肝試しに行こうってなったらどうやって校舎に忍び込む？スタッフの見回りもあると考えてだ。
それは正門から行くのは見つかるかもだから、学院に来る時に通った小道から校舎へ向かって森を突っ切っていくかな。
そうだ、肝試しに来た上級生もそうした。だがこの季節さらに森の中だ。虫除けスプレーくらいじゃ焼け石に水だよな。
The twins' faces light up in realization as they follow the path of breadcrumbs I've laid out towards the answer. I ask Chidori, who's standing beside me, to hand me the item that I had had her prepare in advance. I spread out the school regulation black raincoat to show everyone.
そう、虫に刺されないようにレインコートを着込んで対策していたの。
And she's not wrong! This did happen! But this is obviously not what she's like. This is not the answer. She's so good!
そして森の中を突っ切るため枝打ち用の金属棒のようなものを持っていた。
The Sasaki sisters nod as they imagine how such an outfit might appear at night. Whatever they're thinking of must match up with everyone else's mental picture of the Hookman too, as there are no objections from the rest of the class. However,
でもこのレインコートって黒色よね。
the president timidly raises her hand to ask. The Green Hookman.
そうよね、緑色じゃない。
Someone else raises their voice in agreement, and my classmates start to look at me doubtfully once again. Drawing on another piece of information I've kept tucked away, I run a hand through my messy hair and smile my feline smile.
そうだな、確かにこいつは緑色には見えない。
そうだ、そうだよ。
I nod along with her exclamations.
それじゃあ。
いや、これも理屈があったんだよ。
I revealed to my doubtful audience that I learned when I first went to ask Yatsushiro-senpai about the Hookman. She had hurried over to the clubhouse storeroom after working late on council business to stow away some tools. Upon finding that she'd forgotten the key, she'd run back to get it, leaving her fellow council members waiting at the entrance. And then she'd seen a dark shape.
この話を初めて聞いた時は特に思うところはなかったが、ある示唆を得てから引っかかりを覚えたんだ。
何が？
八代先輩の話の続きはこうなる。僕には黒い人影が銀色の凶器を持って歩いているように見えた。だが会の者たちは 緑色の人影だと震える声で告げた。
I survey my audience. I thought that the more perceptive among them would have grasped what I was getting at by now, but my bookworm buddy is simply looking on without a word, as is Sister Basquiat.
ここで食い違いがあるのは、八代先輩は黒い人影に見え、二階屋の会の者たちは緑色の街灯をまとった怪異に見えた。
言われてみれば確かにそう言っていましたね。
ああ、そして私も同じ経験をした。フックマンの姿を見たと言った佐々木姉妹だが、二人は緑色のレインコートを見たのだろう。
But I saw it as a black figure, I declare.
どういうこと？八代先輩と八重垣ちゃんの二人には黒い人影に見えたって。
私と八代先輩には共通点があるんだ。八代先輩は一度玄関口を離れてから、私は森の奥の光に気を取られていた。
That's the common thread.
赤い光
It's
だ
the
よ。
red lights!
通常ではありえない色の光によって感覚が狂わされ、ただの黒いレインコートが。
Several voices are raised in protest. Of course, that isn't all there is to it. There's one other psychological factor at play, the power of suggestion.
壁心のフックマンという名前から、その姿が緑色であると思い込んでいたせいで、一瞬だけ目に映った姿がそう見えて
Stringing them
思って
along.
しまった。
People overlook that which they don't want to see and project that which they do.
結果、事前に聞いていた壁心のフックマンという言葉による思い込みと現場の異常な状況。
It's nowhere near as romantic, but you can probably explain away the majority of occult and psychic phenomena as the brain playing tricks on you.
錯覚。思い込みがフックマンを作っていたなんて。
The tension finally melts from her body and she lets out a sigh of relief.
確かにこれは幽霊の正体見たり枯れ尾花だわ。
Sister Basquiat seems to be speaking for everyone here, and her tactful words serve as something of a pivot, turning the Hookman mystery into just another bit of school gossip. There are still a few things that remain a mystery, but I've succeeded in winning everyone over with my explanation, and I heave an internal sigh of relief. Also,
驚いて失神するような生徒が出る前でよかったよ。
my words are aimed at the Sasaki sisters. The implication should be clear. Sister Basquiat fainted because she came across a student out on a dare, mistaking them for the Hookman.
上級生の方たちにも注意しますが、今度の話を受け肝試しには行かないように。
Surely no one will be compelled to do that now that the truth behind the apparition has been revealed. And with that, the brouhaha over the Green Hookman finally dies down. We did it, everybody! The Hookman mystery is solved! Kinda. On my way to the appointed place, I recall a scene from the brothers Karamazov. The Grand Inquisitor scene describes the devil appearing to tempt Christ, who is fasting in the wilderness, by ordering him to turn a stone into a loaf of bread. Jesus refuses, saying that man cannot live on bread alone. It's a pretty great comeback. However, in the brothers Karamazov, the response that's given is that miracles are the devil's work. I agree with that response. Miracles don't exist. Muttering to myself, I put my hand on the door. I narrow my eyes against the sunset glow. You really do look like a cat when you do that, she says gently. Yes, she's the original Hookman. The Hookman I revealed to be my classmate. That was nothing more than a copycat, a product of pure coincidence. I think it's time to unravel the truth behind the original Hookman, the one who gave rise to this whole incident. What was behind the Hookman originally? Someone spread rumors, someone dressed up as a joke. People spotted someone loitering around. Okay, now let's follow that thread a little further. The Hookman isn't restricted to a particular area like the shapeshifter of the dorms or the wandering Wendigo of the woods. So why did it only appear in one place, the clubhouse? That's where the key to the mystery is hidden. Why did the Hookman only appear at the clubhouse? It needed to search the art room to scare people. It was the easiest place to escape. It needed to search the art room. And I think we know why at this point. I don't think it's hard to pin down who our dear Hookman might just be. And lastly, who was originally behind the Hookman? It's Suo Shirahane. I run through all the pieces of the puzzle in my head, then call her name. She looks at me with the same bewildered, troubled expression she'd worn at the birthday party. You just wanted to grab those paintings, huh? She whispers. I roll my chair over to my bookworm buddy and start things off by telling her I'd had a feeling from the very start.
七不思議の一つ、壁紙のフックマン。これも他の怪異と同じく、さらうタイプの怪異だ。だが、遭遇しても
Yeah, nothing, like nobody gets disappeared with this one. In fact, it was the Hookman itself that disappeared, I tell her. My bookworm buddy's troubled expression doesn't change as she waits for me to continue.
誕生日会で話したことが真実なら、間違われ、そう呼ばれても仕方のないことだろう。だが、そもそも噂になり肝試しに訪れるためには、始まりのフックマンが必要だ。そして、始まりのフックマンは、白羽スオ。
I'd realized it as I was putting my final deduction together, but it still makes me ache very deeply. I didn't want to do this to her. Miracles don't exist. I recall the first act of the Brothers Karamazov. Her troubled expression softens, and she looks at me directly in the eyes, then... She says this in such an earnest, kind manner. How typical of her. Right.
Yep.
All the way back in what, chapter 2? To like get her out of her slump? She nods slightly, although she looks confused. In the dying light of the day, she looks like a beautiful ghost. I go over to the practice paintings that are due to be disposed of and stroke the back of one of the canvases. I pick up the picture Mayuri Kosaka painted. They have, actually. It's kind of really sweet. Her smile makes my heart clench. I bare my pointy teeth in a smile. Oh? She makes a confused noise at my swift judgment. She's an actress too. Or more likely, she just doesn't want to cause me any more trouble. Oh, you already nicked one! Oh, we're going back to the like, so there's like 2 or 3 paintings because we're going back to the picture thing, aren't we?
って言ったよな。
Oh yeah, she said paintings. I caressed Kosaka's painting, her Annunciation scene.
お前が必要だったのは絵の中に秘密が隠されていた絵画だけだった。
She answers my question with silence. She's the same as me, she's drawn her boundaries and resolved not to let anyone cross them, because doing so would cause trouble for them. I roll my chair over to another painting.
お前がフックマンと分かったのは千鳥のおかげだが、秘密を隠していると知ったのは八代先輩のおかげなんだ。
八代先輩
ほう、ようやく聞く耳を持ったか。あの人もフックマンの謎を追っていてな、いろいろと助言をしてくれたよ。カメラを持ってきてフックマンを撮るんだと息巻いていた。
まさか私の姿が映って。
用意周到なお前だ。そんなミスは犯してないだろ。ただ八代先輩は私へある示唆を残してくれたのさ。
An unwitting hint, I bet. I line up the paintings of the Annunciation and of Joseph of Nazareth on the table.
上手だよな。あいつマジで絵の才能があったんだな。
She looks lovingly down at the paintings like a mother gazing upon her infant child. However, if they're that precious to her, why didn't she take these two with her? Shirahane has no interest in the paintings themselves. She's looking at the one who painted them, Mayuri Kosaka.
それで話の続きだが、八代先輩のカメラはデジカメだったからな。今まで撮った写真を見せてくれたよ。組写真の説明をしてくれたんだ。
There are essentially two categories of photo set, those which convey meaning to tell a story, and those which act as a montage, highlighting the passage of time. I explain all about photo sets as the sun continues to set.
組写真は2枚以上あればいいと言っていたが、わかりやすく起承転結の4枚、もしくは上波球の3枚あれば表現できると言った。
Carefully regarding Shirahane's perfectly still form, I ask her my question.
高坂真由里が残したこの絵画、組写真のように物語を持たせてあったものじゃないのか。
The orange glow of the setting sun casts Shirahane's face in shadow. I can't make out her expression at all, just like with the Hookman back then.
ナザレのヨセフ、これはキリストの養父であり、聖母マリアの夫の絵だ。そして受胎告知、これはその妻が身ごもった時の絵。絵に物語性を持たせるなら大切な人物が登場していないよな。
The figure of Christ himself, right?
キリストだよ。物語の最後の一幕はそれとも幼いキリストを抱く聖ヨゼフの絵か。忍び込み残りの一枚をお前が持っていったんだろ。
I still can't see her face, and the featureless Shirahane in front of me is somehow terrible to behold. I wonder how simply not being able to read someone's expressions can be both terrifying and sad. Shirahane takes a single step forward.
私が持ち去った絵は幼いキリストを抱く聖者ヨゼフの絵画だった
A
わ。
message.
そしてその絵の中に真由里のメッセージが込められていたの。
さあ、
I can now see her face again. It's so contorted in sorrow, but there's also a trace of joy in there. Her pained smile makes my heart ache so intensely it scares me. I want to do something to help her.
真由里からのメッセージは。
分かってる。まだ言えないんだろ。
ごめんなさい、エリカさん。
If she's chosen to keep it to herself, that in itself means something. When she found the message, she hadn't come to me, the person who urged her to look for it.
誰にも言わないよ。
I reassure my poor melancholy bookworm buddy.
こいつはただ 区切りをつけたかっただけだ。そしてできるなら高坂のことを話してほしいと思った。
You're good. She's good. She's so good. Tears spring to her eyes, and she gently lays a hand atop my lightly clenched fist.
一つ私から伝えたいことがある。
なんだろ
My voice comes out shrilly.
バスキア教諭の件は
What?
私ではないわ。
Okay. Her words take me by surprise. I'm quite dumbfounded, in fact, to hear the truth I'd been averting my eyes from. How does Shirahane know about the incident with Sister Basquiat? No one was supposed to say anything.
いや、こいつならそのくらい調べ上げているか。
I forced my cat-like smile to my face as she stares at me, her hand still atop mine.
わかっているさ。バスキア教諭の件は私に任せてくれ。
There in the art room, both of us bathed in the scarlet light of the dying sun. I again try reassuring my precious friend. Woo! A lot going on there. Jeez. My day-to-day life continues unchanged. Although it's my amitié partner who's now responsible for most of the assistance I need, this is the one aspect of it that hasn't changed at all since I started at the academy. An intimate moment between the two of us in an intimate space, which is exactly why I figure this is the only time to discuss what happened, to discuss the meaning behind what Suo Shirahane said.
フックマンの正体が分かりましたよ。
そう。
Sister Basquiat pauses in washing my legs and murmurs to herself,
肝
then,
試しをしていた上級生のことよね。困ったものだわ。
Whatever will we do? She says with a smile. Just like when I'd pressed Shirahane, I'm reminded of the scene in The Brothers Karamazov. The scene where the devil tempts Christ, who is fasting in the wilderness by asking if he can perform the miracle of turning stones into bread. By analogy, would that make me the devil and Sister Basquiat the Christ figure being tested? That's a pretty good analogy there, actually. I know that she's covering for someone. Is it needlessly cruel for me to shine a light on that which she is trying to conceal?
どうしたの？怖い顔をしているわね。
Sister, what you hiding? What you hiding?
いえ、
今日はすごかったわ。みんなが注目している場で理路整然と。まるで白羽さんみたいに。
私は白羽には及びませんよ。
そんなことはないわ。八重垣さんのおかげでみんなフックマンに怯え
I would say she's probably even better than Suo because she's good at coming up with two deductions and then using them both. So yeah, I'd say she's a little more than on the level.
怪談話だと思っていた生徒たちも正体が分かった以上、むやみに下校時刻を破ってまで行くこともないでしょうしね。
Sister Basquiat smiles at me, but although I feel bad for doing so, I shake my head again and repeat that I'm not on Shirahane's level.
白羽は事件がどう転ぼうと真実を明らかにするまっとうなやつです。私は自分に都合が良ければ真実なんてどうでもいい。
八重垣さん？
フックマンは複数いたのです。
Sister Basquiat tilts her head, apparently struggling to understand my meaning.
それはそうなのでしょう。肝試しに訪れた生徒は一人だけではないのでしょうし。
そうではありません。私があの場で説明したのは全てではない。
Having grasped what I'm getting at, a look of surprise first crossed her face and then one of sadness.
まだ終わったわけではないのですね。
始まりのフックマンの正体は突き止めました。
She looks up at me hopefully, and I shake my head. I don't want to say this, but
始まりのフックマンの名前は言えま ですが、私があの日バスキア教諭が倒れた事件の折、私
気を失った私を助ける
You're a hero!
フックマンを追っていたあの時、私は確かに美術室で物音を聞いた。中に人がいる気配を感じました。
I go on to tell her how, just as I was about to open the door, I heard a scream.
私の
Hmm?
悲鳴ですね。
はい、その足で反対側の空き教室へ。ですが、おかしいのです。
She tilts her head again and I nod.
あの日肝試しに訪れていた生徒は八代先輩の
Yeah?
手で寮へと戻されていた。だから噂を広げたフックマンはいない。
なら八重垣さんの言う始まりのフックマンでは。
それはありえないのです。なぜな
Was
ら
already, yeah, they'd already accomplished what they came to
すでにことを
do.
成していた。美術室に用はない。
Hmm.
あなたは美術室にいた別のものから目を背けさせるため、
Hmm.
わざと悲鳴を上げたのです。
Mm. The air between us seems to solidify. I feel like time has suddenly slowed. It's not exactly a tension in the room, it's a mood I've never experienced before.
人の道を外れたら罰を受ける。2番目の姉が自暴自棄になっていた私を諭した時の言葉です。
I say her name again.
隠していることは人倫に戻ることではありませんよね。
I'm hardly in a position to be asking that question, really, since I just declared that I was concealing the original Hookman. Her lustrous, honey-colored hair. Let's not get distracted here! Her voluptuous body. We are getting distracted! Her ever-sunny, impossible-to-hate personality. The person I idolize above all others is clearly struggling.
まあ、というのは建前で。
I stretch up and take a hold of the shower head before beginning to rinse the soap suds from my body.
別に糾弾するつもりはないんです。ただ、バスキア教諭が何か困っているなら、
Wants to return the favor.
八重垣さん。
誰かをかばってのことだというのは分かっています。
Yeah, like,
それが全員なら
we're gonna have, let's just at least acknowledge we are both covering for something here. We can at least just be honest in the fact that even though we can't give up that info, we can mutually agree to at least be honest that, like, look, there's something I can't tell you.
だが、もしバスキア教諭が困って、
Then I'll crush them with everything I've got, I declare. Sister Basquiat gazes deep into my eyes like she's looking into my very soul.
平気よ、八重垣さん。何も困っていることなんてないわ。
ならいいんです。
いいの。
白羽とは違う。嘘でも未解決でも、それでみんなうまく回るならそれでいい。私がこんな真似をしたのは、
I realized too late that, faced with those earnest amber eyes, I've been spilling out all of my emotions in front of her.
何？
あなたが幸せなら、それでいい。
That's so nice. My whisper is too faint for her to hear. My heart hammers away loudly in my flat towel-clad chest. My idol.
私はダメな教師ね。
Aww.
生徒にこんなにも心配をかけて。
確かに心配しましたし、柄にもないことをしましたけど、ダメなんかじゃないです。失格教師だったら誕生日なんて祝われないでしょ。
Right. You're right, she smiles.
たくさんプレゼントをいただいて、高崎さんからも
Aww, she did get her something! She'd said she wasn't getting her anything. I grind my teeth in annoyance, but at the same time, something hits me. I haven't given her my present yet.
クマンのバタバタで失念してた。
Oops!
そう花火師さんからはお仕事をいただいたの。
A dahlia, of
ダ
course!
イヤの花よ。
No doubt she doesn't mean it that way, but it feels like I'm being compared, and I find myself automatically resenting the president. Damn, why did she have to go and be such a girly girl? I wanted to be the one to give her a clever, thoughtful present.
長く教師を続けてきたけれど、今年の生徒はみんな優しく勤勉で、この学院の教師で本当に良かったと思うわ。
An affectionate smile reminiscent of the Virgin Mary herself crosses Sister Basquiat's face, and I quietly resolve myself.
先生、心苦しいと思っているなら。
私にできることならぜひ。
なら。
My cheeks and ears flush. I'm keenly aware that I'm not acting at all like myself. Still,
なら。バレエ発表会での振り付けのやり方ですが。詳しく教えてほしい。
there
一人だと勝手がわからないんです。
Look at you!
振り付け引き受けてくれるのね。嬉しい。
Oh, listen to how happy she is. That sound. She wraps me up in a big hug and I squeak. Her soft body presses up against mine. I can feel not just my face, but my entire body turning red.
先生、本当に苦しいですって。
ありがとう、八重垣さん。
I wriggle in her grasp, but she shows no sign of withdrawing her soft, warm
たま
body.
には甘えるのもいいか。
You've earned it! I stop struggling against the warmth of her body, which reminds me of my mother, and instead bury my face in her sweet-smelling chest. There you go! You did good! Alright, that's a chapter break.
グリム童話に
There's a story in Grimm's fairy tales called Mary's Child. Marian Kind!
貧しい家
It
庭
tells
に
the
生ま
story
れ
of
た
how
女
a
の
girl
子
born into a poor family is taken by the Virgin Mary at 3 years old to live happily in heaven.
天国で幸せな生活を送る物語だ。女の子が14歳
When
に
the girl
なっ
is
た折
14
に
years old, Mary departs on a journey, leaving the girl with her keys. She warns the girl to never open door number 13.
13番目の扉を開けてはならないとことづけられる。しかし女の子は
But the
好
girl
奇
is
心が
curious and she opens door number 13. When Mary returns from her travels, she notices that the door has been
旅から戻
opened
った
and
マリア様が
questions the
扉を
girl.
開けたことに気づき問いただすも女の子は開け
But
て
the
いない
girl
と固く
stubbornly
なに
insists she didn't open it. The girl disobeyed instructions and lied to cover it up, and Mary expels her from heaven, taking her power of speech from her. Damn, that's
口を
rough!
聞けなくし天国から追放したその後
After living alone and miserable for many years, the girl discovered by a passing prince, and they get married. They live happily together, and the girl falls pregnant. However,
仲睦まじく過ごし子供を授かったしかし子供が生まれた
on the eve of her child that her child is born, Mary appears at the girl's bedside and asks her if she opened door number 13. The girl, who is now queen again, obstinately insists she did
お
not.
妃となった女は堅くなに開けていないと答えた嘘の代償と
As
して
recompense for the lie, Mary takes the child. After that, she has a second and a third child, and each time she is asked the question, she lies, and each time
同
her
じ質問を
child
される
is
も
taken
嘘を
from
つ
her.
いたためその度こうさらわれてしまう物語の最
At
後
the
に
end of the story, the reformed queen becomes ashamed of her lie, confesses that she opened the door, and has her 3 children
連れ去られ
returned
た
to
子は
her.
3人とも返され許された14歳の
The
折に
girl
つ
lost
いた嘘
everything
で
because
全
of a
てを
lie
失
she told at age 14 and had those precious to her taken from her time and time again because of her continued refusal to tell the truth. When I heard this story, I thought of my precious friend.
私は大切な友人を思った これから始ま
The
る
story
物
that
語
begins now is that of Mary's
失った
children
ものを取り
struggling
戻
to
そう
get
と
back
あがく
what they have lost.
マリアの子供たちのお話。
Ooh, that's deep. That's a good one. I was right. It's Marian Kind. All right. So that's gonna do it for us this time around. That is one more chapter in the books. And wow, things are definitely starting to careen toward what I feel like is a conclusion, because we still got the big ballet recital coming up, so I'm sure something crazy is gonna happen there. And like whatever's going on, you know, between Erica and Dahlia now, that we've got this mutual understanding that we're both hiding something. It's like, I don't know if that's gonna pop out by the end of this game, but that is something to definitely kind of keep tucked in the old brain case, I think. So with that out of the way, we will catch you next time. So as always, thanks so much for coming out. I hope you have a nice rest of your whatever, and we will catch you next time. Bye!